So today we have a special guest, David Weiss, like ice. And he has a Flat Earth podcast. So we want to welcome to the show. And we're going to talk Flat Earth. What do you believe? Hi, David. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys today? Glad to speak to a mother and daughter. Very nice.
Thank you. We are good. We are hanging in there.
Awesome. So real quick, it's not about believing. See, we grew up our whole life believing and trusting, right? Because we're good people. We go to school. We trust our teachers. We trust the people that are wearing lab coats and bow ties and that tell us things. We trust the textbooks that we're taught in school. But do we ever really question? Do we ever really look and not just believe? No. Belief is the enemy of knowing. So belief is easy. You believe. Where do I live? What state?
You live in Connecticut.
You believe that. Do you know it?
I don't.
Right.
I don't.
So believe, but you know what? You're looking at me, you can see me, you're like, I trust him. I think he's in Connecticut. Why would he lie? You can't think of a motivation why I would lie. So the truth is, I do live in Connecticut. So, but now you still have a more solid belief, but you still don't know. Again, verification. That's what we do. And we've never verified the globe. The question I ask you is, when did you learn about the globe? And did they show you anything other than cartoons? And I can answer it for you. It's before you could talk. And no, they only show you cartoons.
That is true. I don't remember because I can't remember that far back.
Well, when our parents sat us down in front of Walt Disney and Sesame Street, these are all globe programming shows. These are, they teach you some good stuff, little numbers, maybe some colors, but it's all about, they have astronauts on there, they have moon, all of our program. One of the first worksheets that kids bring home from school is the orbits of the planets and the moons. You had to figure out, the moon goes around the earth and the earth goes around the sun, and all of that is pseudoscience.
I remember doing diagrams and like all that type of stuff.
Right. So most people, when they hear about flat Earth, they go, it's really stupid. Earth isn't a disk. Why are all the other planets round? Are we the only disk pancake planet floating in space? No flat earther thinks that at all. We don't think the other planets are flat either. We don't believe in planets. They used to be called, to not that long ago, wandering stars. And they're very much like the stars that we see in the sky, which are nothing like they tell you. But they call them wandering stars because they have their own path. So if the Earth isn't a disk floating in space, what is it? And this is very, very easy. We live in a pond, a puddle, a lake, whatever you want to call it. The world's oceans form this giant pond, and large bodies of water at rest lay flat. So water needs a container. Like if you had a bucket of water, the surface of the water is flat and the container is the bucket. Okay. If you got a pond, what's the container? The land that surrounds it, the land that's higher than the water. If you dug out some of the land lower than the water is going to flow out because the container isn't containing it. All of our world is like a giant pond. So what's the container? The container is Antarctica. Antarctica isn't a continent at the bottom of the ball like they tell us. Antarctica is the shoreline that surrounds the world pond. It's the highest land on Earth. It's the shoreline that contains all of the water. And so the first question you're going to ask is, well, what's out there in the outer space? What's beyond the shoreline, right? So the first thing that we've established is you can't fall off the flat Earth. You can't go to the edge and fall off the Earth, just like you can't go to the edge of a lake and fall off the lake. Yes, you can step up onto the land. You can go for a walk. But nobody, not you, not me, not ExxonMobil, not anybody is allowed to explore the outer lands of Antarctica. It's off.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Why?
Yeah, so in the 1940s, they started exploring Antarctica. Admiral Byrd flew out over Antarctica and he said, there's land bigger than the United States, filled with resources that no human has ever set eyes upon. And then all of a sudden the next year he went on a news show, early television days, and then he was silenced. I think he died less than a year later. And then all of a sudden they came up with the Antarctic Treaty. And the Antarctic Treaty was formed in 1959. And it says nobody is allowed to explore there until the year 2041. You can't even question the treaty, right? It's the only treaty.
Why 2041?
Well, because they had to put a number on it. So they put like 62 years on it or whatever it was. But that'll just be kicked down the road a little farther when we even get close to that. So here's the thing. They said the reason that we can't go to Antarctica is because we have to protect the penguins, the migratory paths of the penguins, right? They're afraid that the sled dogs would eat the penguins or something. I don't know. And we have to protect the ice. So back then, when all the countries were fighting for resources and territories, they discovered land that no one's on, that no one needs to be displaced, filled with resources, and they go, oh, nobody can go there. And so a dozen or so nations signed on, and the years following, all the nations signed on, and it's the only treaty that has held up the test of time. So what's out there? So if we lived in the center space, let's say the world was set up like we're in this circle in the center, and then there's more land beyond Antarctica, that would be considered the outer space. If we're in the inner space, they're in the outer space. And what's another word for more? Extra. What's another word for land? Territory. Extra territory. So if you lived in the extra territory in the outer space, and you came to visit the inner space where we live here, you might be considered an extraterrestrial from outer space.
Oh, yeah.
Extraterrestrials could be coming from just a few thousand miles away, and not these ridiculous light years away. Light years are a made up thing that don't exist.
Really?
So a lot of things with science, right, are not necessarily proven. They're just theories or hypotheses or whatever people are just making up. Because can you measure a light year? How can you measure, like, where are you getting these numbers from?
Well, the way they discovered the speed of light is two guys on separate mountaintops with lanterns and rags over the lanterns. They pulled the lantern up, and somehow they measured the time it took the light to get to the other one. The most ridiculous thing ever. Okay, so the distance light travels in a year is called a light year. So the distance light travels in a month is called a light month. The distance light travels in a minute is called a light minute. Right? You with me? So let's look at what a light year is. A light year is light's traveling at 1,186,000 miles a second or whatever it is for a year. Okay, so the light from our sun is supposedly 8 light minutes away, just 8 light minutes away, right? The closest star beyond our sun, if you want to say our sun is a star, is Alpha Centauri. It's 4.5 light years away. Okay, that's 25 trillion miles. Now pay attention here. This is easy. This is where people just give up, their brains short circuit, but it's very easy. 25 trillion miles. If you were traveling at a mile per second, that's really fast. Imagine driving down the road a mile every second. That's pretty fast. And you traveled for 1 trillion seconds. How many miles would you have gone? 1 trillion seconds. 1 trillion seconds at a mile per second is
1 trillion
miles. 1 trillion miles. A mile per second for 1 trillion seconds is 1 trillion miles. So if you were traveling at a mile per second for 1 trillion seconds, you're 1/25th of your way to the closest star, because you got to do that 25 more times, right? Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is?
I know that 1 billion seconds puts us back in, like, I think 1930 or something like that. You're closer than anybody else. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. So if you're traveling at a mile a second for 31,000 years, you're only 1/25th the way to the first star, and you believe that your eyeballs can see a star that far away? It's ridiculous. It's scientifically provable that you can't. Okay? So all of the stuff that they tell us, none of it can be verified except stuff like this. When they tell us, well, the star is this big and it's this far, well, we can prove that the angular size of that star is
too small at like a light week away. And they tell us, that it's light years away. It's all pseudoscience. It's all pseudoscience. So, good. Any questions? Because I can go on all different things.
Okay, because they say that the Earth spins on an axis, it's on an orbit, and that's why everything is round, right?
Well, I mean, the story of the heliocentric.
They said it's for the seasons, like it has to do with the seasons, and that's why the Earth is round and has all the seasons.
Yeah, so we'll take that apart right now. We'll do seasons and the Earth's movements. So they tell us that the Earth is spinning at the equator at 1,000 miles an hour. So when you're watching the sunset, the sun isn't going down. You're on the top of a ball, falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, and the sun just appears to be going down. Okay? Mm-hmm. Does that sound a little crazy? That's what you have to believe. We're also orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. That speed is so fast that you can't even fathom it. And then we're chasing the sun at close to 500,000 miles per hour. And that entire system is moving sideways at over another 1,000,000 miles per hour. So it's moving 4 directions at once, right? Imagine I want to do an experiment. Get in your car, go, get on a nice straight flat road and have a dinner plate. And then while you're going at a nice consistent speed, put the cruise control on if you have it, don't turn, and then get a dinner plate and fill it with water to the brim and see how long you could hold it. And then when start speeding up and slowing down and turning and see what happens to that water. With all of those motions I just described, we have lakes on a calm morning that are perfect glass. They're not sloshing. They're not bulging. They're perfect glass mirrored lakes. Mm-hmm. Do you know why they're mirrored and perfectly still? Because the Earth is flat and we're not moving.
Oh.
Here's the thing, and I would love to get into like a school science class. I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. Do you know what a Bitcoin is? Cryptocurrency. It's like 50 grand each. Mm-hmm. So that's $150,000 for 1 proof of the globe. One.
Why do you think they want us to think that the Earth isn't flat?
That is an intelligent question.
What is the point of that?
That is an intelligent question. I'm going to answer that. So the answer is everything that you have in your life is because of the way that you think. If you have big dreams and you live those dreams are delivered to you. The universe, this world is conspiring to deliver your thoughts, good or bad. Whatever you're thinking, good or bad, you're delivering. You had the thoughts of a poppy, and now you have a poppy. Okay, you had the thoughts of a podcast, now you have a podcast. Okay, when you're in alignment with your thoughts, those things come into your life. Mm-hmm. But people say, oh, I'm in alignment with $1 million, but deep down inside, they're like, I'm never going to have $1 million, and that's what's really shooting out into the universe, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to let your thoughts expand to create your world. They don't want you to know that you're a powerful being at the center of creation. You're not on a random ball spinning through an infinite universe where, out of control, or an asteroid could take you out any second. You're not a powerless being that evolved from pond scum. You are a created being at the center of creation. So by putting us in the ball, that's like a prison for our mind. It's like Truman, the Truman Show. Okay.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, that's an analogy. That's a flat Earth movie. Watch it again. And he finally breaks out from the movie. Do you like the movie The Matrix? Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves at the beginning, his mind is plugged into the Matrix. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, what he is, or more importantly, the power of his mind. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the movie, he's unplugged from the mind matrix. He stopped watching the tell-lie vision programming. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he has taken back his power and realized his true power. So if you think that this is it, the world is overpopulated, we're running out of fuel, we're running out of water, we're running out of food, global warming, Kim Jong-un's going to blow us up with bombs. You're living in fear. You're living in a restricted
belief system, and your thoughts are limited. You have limited your manifestation ability. And they don't want us to know we're in a spiritual war right now. This is a spiritual war, whether you believe it or not. If you don't believe it, that's a point for them.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, that's a point for them, though, because most people don't believe it. They think, oh, this and that. We are in a massive, massive spiritual war. And there's the Great Reset is going on right now. Every 100 years, they have another reset. And the one thing we've learned from history is that we don't learn from history. Right? that is true. But right now, without I don't want to go into the topic because there's a lot of censorship going on. But right now, it's 2020 and we've got the Rona thing happening. And then in 1820 there was 1920 was the Spanish flu. 1820 was cholera, I think, and 1720 was the plague.
Yep.
Every 100 years, everybody puts on these muzzles and gets the thing stuck in their arm, and there's a great reset. Crazy. So they don't want us to know that we have the power. People say, I still got to go to work tomorrow. Nothing I can do about it. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now. If people would just take back their power and say, no, here's the good news. You have free will. And the rules of this playing field are nobody can take that from you. You have a soul, which is a spark of the creator. Whoever that is, that's with you, that's your own relationship. And your duty here, your goal, your rules, or your reason is don't lose control of your soul. And don't break anyone else's free will, and expand the mind of the creator. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. But they have hijacked us. Who are they? I don't know. I mean, I know we can see the people that are controlling us, but there's people controlling them. So, that is so the why is the most important and the biggest thing. Everyone, people go, well, what difference does it make? I don't care. The shape doesn't matter. That's like, imagine if you lived in an apartment building that was 2 miles wide and 200 stories high, and that the outer walls had no windows and no doors, but you weren't allowed to go that last quarter mile to the outside wall ever. It's off limits, like Antarctica. And you met your husband, and you have a job, and you do your shopping on the 12th floor, and your gym is on the one of the upper floors, and you're just living there. And someone goes, hey, there's more beyond there. There's more. And you go, what difference does it make? It's crazy, right?
Right.
It's crazy. So they're hiding our true creation. They're hiding more land. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding your true divinity. They're hiding your power. They're stealing your life with the currency of our world is souls, and they want your soul. So they're trying to lure it away with the soul lure system.
That's funny. The soul lure
a little
system.
Funny, but it's what's happening.
Yeah.
So they just want to keep us trapped in a mindset. So that's why they're not telling us why.
Well, if you understood, so we have a conference going on in South Carolina in October called Flattoberfest. And there's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of flat earthers there. They're all awake. We've all taken our power back. It's a whole different vibe when you get around people that understand. Once you understand that everyone has got it wrong. Everyone has got it wrong, right? Because we've all been indoctrinated to the globe. It's the biggest deception of all, because that's how they control us. The reason they're getting away with all the nonsense in the world right now is because our minds are trapped in a prison, spinning out of control, lost in space, and we have no idea the power that we truly have.
So this what is it?
It's called Flattoberfest. If you want to find it, it's flatearthfestivals.com. It's super fun. And it's in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Ooh.
And it's October 28th.
And if you went, you're going to make 100 new best friends. Guaranteed. And the first day is like some presentations and people milling around and all sorts of stuff. And the second day is like a music festival. And it's going to be a blast.
Do you go every year?
I do.
And you guys are just sharing information?
And it's more of a giant meetup. It's a more of, we can get a lot of this information online. We have shows online. We have Globebusters, which is a twice a week show, Wednesdays and Sundays. Lots of information there. We upload lots of stuff. We're not being censored, but our stuff is being shadow banned. You can't find our stuff. I created an app called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And that app bypasses their algorithms. It shows you every day, it feeds you a new video a day. And I tell people, I'll give you 3 Bitcoins for one proof of the globe, but you got to take the app challenge. Every day there's a new video that shows up on the app. Watch that video. Watch that video while you're having breakfast. And at the end of 2 weeks, one of 2 things will happen. One, you'll lose the respect of your family and friends because you'll be a flat earther. Or 2, you'll think you've got a proof of the globe, but then you'll hit the frequently asked questions button on the app, and up will come all of the answers that you didn't realize existed.
Okay, so when you're informing people are finding out, but what is the end game? What is the end goal?
The end goal, right. The end goal is for us to all say no, do not comply with the nonsense that's going on in this world. This entire tyrannical thing that's happening to the world right now could end tomorrow if people just said, no, we're not buying your baloney. I don't know what your feel of what's going on is, but if you really look into it, the censorship is unbelievable. And I don't want to say too much because it'll get censored. If you really want to learn what's going on, there's a website called stoplookthink.com. And just start watching the videos on the homepage there or on the CO vid page. And then you can make up your own mind. Don't believe it. By the way, on any topic I talk about today, don't believe anything. I'm just pointing at some doors and showing you where the information is. Go look at it and verify it yourself. People go, where'd you learn the earth was flat? On YouTube? I'm like, well, yeah. But then I went and verified it myself. Like, I said, what about boats over the horizon? And so I went down to the beach and I zoomed in to a buoy that should have been 60 feet over the curve, and I could see it. And I could see the water beyond it. And I realized that boats don't go over the horizon. They just optically get too small and they appear to go over the horizon. So as a sailboat goes away from you, or a barge or whatever, the bottom will disappear first due to angular resolution and waves and all sorts of stuff and optical stuff. And then it just gets too small for your eye to see. And you think it's over the curve, but if you get a super zoom camera, you can zoom in on it and it comes back again. And it's the same for everything in the distance. And then there's also things in the distance. The atmosphere gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and it becomes opaque. And then you can't see things, even if they're big enough to see. But normally,
they're just too far away.
They're too far and too small, and you can't see them. And you think it's over the curve. And according to globe math, it should be over the curve, but it's not if you have the right equipment on the right conditions day, and then you can zoom in and see it. Crazy, right?
If you think that, do you believe in heaven or hell?
That's a good question. No, she can ask that.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Because if the souls are trapped here and we're in a spiritual warfare, so I'm asking him, after we die, where does the spirits and the souls go?
Okay.
You know what? That's a great question. Here, I have a better question for you. Is this heaven or hell?
I feel like Earth is like purgatory or some form of hell, because it's not nice.
I think it could be.
It could go either way.
I think it could be either. I think it's all the way that you make it. Two people can see the same thing and have two different experiences from it. You know the story of the Buddha master, and he was at the town fair and he bought a raffle ticket and he won the BMW convertible. And everyone goes, "You're so lucky." And he goes, "Perhaps." And then he's driving the car in California, driving around the cliffs, enjoying it. And he drove off the road and tumbled down, and he's in the hospital, 2 broken legs. And his friends visit him in the hospital and he goes, oh my God, you're so unlucky. That's so unfortunate. And he goes, perhaps. And then while he was recovering in the hospital, there was a mudslide and his entire village got buried and everyone died. And they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky you were in the hospital. He goes, perhaps. And the story just keeps on going and going and going. So I don't believe in good or bad. I believe that we are here in this physical simulation and we are here. I don't want to say it's like a video game, but we're in this simulation and we can create our own realities. I certainly have.
But how? In what ways
have.
have you created your own
Well,
reality?
I grew up in Fairfield County, so I'm in a pretty prominent area. And I went to college and I worked in some businesses, and then I worked in corporate America, and I started my own division in this company, doing really well. Then the company got bought out, and I started my own company. Right. And on my vision board, I was working in corporate America, eating in the lunchroom every day. And, I just said, I want my vision board. I said, I want to own my own company. I want to be the CEO of my own company. I want free time. I want more money. I just put all these things down. And then 5 years later, I had my own company. I was doing the books. I was like, how could I be the CEO? I don't even know how to even be a CEO. I'm doing the books, making tons of money and having tons of free time. And then when I discovered that the earth was flat, after a couple of years, something told me, walk away from the American dream. I had my own company. I had people working for me. I was making tons of money, and something said, walk away from it all and spread this message, because none of it's going to matter if we stay asleep during this reset. If we don't wake up now, we're going to go into 1,000 years of slavery. Okay. We're all going to be slaves in smart cities. We're going to be digitally tracked. Excuse me. It's going to be a nightmare, but it doesn't have to be. And all we have to do is say, no. And to do that, two things make it really easy. One, knowing where you are, who you are, that you're at the center of creation, that you didn't evolve from pond scum. And two, we have to stop playing with their monopoly money, right? You guys play Monopoly?
Yep. I love Monopoly.
Go read the directions. When it says, if the bank runs out of money, do you know what it says? It says, just get some paper and write some more money on it. It's fine. Okay. That's what it says. And that's that's the money we're playing with. We're playing with literally monopoly money. And if you look at the tinted colors of all of the new bills, the 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100, they match the monopoly board colors.
Interesting.
They do. Yeah. So it's rubbing it in our face. So there's a way, and it's in place. People just have to step away, is privacy cryptocurrencies. Okay. Not Bitcoin. Privacy coins that nobody can track, that are just like cash. Like I could send you Pirate Chain or Monero and nobody would ever know about it. Okay.
See, I don't know too much about this cryptocurrency and all of these.
My dad's into Bitcoin.
So here's what you do. Put the intention out there to learn about it. And then find a good YouTube channel that has beginner crypto stuff and just watch one video a day. Start learning about it. Open up a crypto account. Put a couple dollars in and throw $50 in, throw $100 in, throw whatever, something you can play with. And it's incredible. There's people that put $500 in and have millions of dollars now. Okay. And it happens all the time, but people don't know about it. It's still super early, but here's the thing. People go, well, digital money, that's how they're going to control us. Yes, it is. Centralized digital money is the same thing as we have now. We have centralized banks. We need decentralized privacy coins. So just remember the name Pirate Chain and Monero. Okay. Pirate Chain and Monero. So those, in my opinion, are going to be worth a lot if we don't crash and burn. By the way, it's not about money. I don't care about money. Money's nice. Trust me, you get, you can do what you need and whatnot, but love what you do and the money will come. If that's what you need, if the money is needed to keep continuing to love what you do, then it'll come. But if you don't need money, then, you don't need money.
everybody needs money.
Well, that's the other trick.
do
The main thing is energy, electricity, gasoline, oil, and food. Well, we live in a magical place where you can get a seed that your grandmother put in a mason jar 50 years ago, stick it into the ground, then water, the most amazing substance on earth, will fall from the sky, and then food will grow out of the ground. Okay. There is no food shortage. There's just a mental capacity shortage. And
because there's seeds everywhere.
And then there's free energy everywhere. There's technology that pulls energy right out of the ether. Tesla lit up the world's fairs with wireless electricity that couldn't be metered. It's everywhere, but they're hiding that technology from us.
Yeah, I've seen some videos about energy and energizing your house and all type of stuff without electricity.
Sure, in my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, there's a button in there called Tataria, and that shows you about this worldwide civilization that was here in the 1800s. Everything from our past, everything before 1900, even the early 1900s, is a lie. The Wild West, a lie. Okay, the World's Fairs, the biggest lie you could ever imagine. There was an advanced civilization here that had technology far beyond anything that we can even imagine right now.
Even because I think maybe, I don't know if it was the Mayans or wherever, where they had, they were pictures illustrated in the caves, this and that. Someone on one of the whoever that they sketched on there, a person, he had a watch on his arm.
They had flying craft bigger than aircraft carriers that were all over the earth. Okay. So they've stopped us from having those by demonizing hydrogen, linking it to hydrogen bombs. And then they had the Hindenburg, which was a staged event. And there's a shortage of helium. Why is there really is. There's infinite helium, but NASA, the people that fake going to space, owns all of the helium companies in the world.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. And because if we had cheap helium, people could start dirigible airship companies. Then all you need is a solar panel and a fan, and you could go explore where they don't want you to. They don't want us going to the north or south.
So essentially, when we say they all the time, part of they is NASA, who controls a lot of everything.
NASA is NASA stands for not a space agency, and they are here just to make us believe that the Earth is flat. They fake everything in space. It's all CGI. There's a video showing a lemon, and the guy's floating the lemon around, but it's not a real lemon, and it goes right through his hand because they play with CGI objects.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's so much fakery. And then when you see the guys on the space station, they're just in a green screen studio pretending that they're floating, right? And it's not space.
But this is so right. Go ahead.
Do you think recently when Jeff Bezos went into space with that lady and then the youngest person to go to space, think that was fake too?
That was 1,000% fake. Jeff Bezos, I didn't want to show you the rocket launch because it's literally pornographic, but all it is a 0G plane. It's a 0G plane. And they always have a girl with a long hair flipping around. And a 0G plane, you can go on one. It's cost $5,000. And a plane just does this parabolic arc, and it creates a weightlessness for 25 to 40 seconds where you can float around. And that's all they did is they did a whole bunch of shots in there. They videoed it. They put it together. They told us that he got 4.5 minutes of weightlessness, but they won't show us more than 5 seconds of anything floating. Cut, like a movie. And it's a whole bunch of videos together. And then they put him on an airplane. They let him glide in and land and wave to all the reporters. And that's it. It's all fake. All of it.
It's just, I just don't see what is the purpose
The purpose is to control your mind, to keep you in a box, to make you feel insignificant, to make sure you're not in a position where there's no way to deny the creator, right? I used to deny creation. I was like, you're a religious fanatic, you're an idiot. And now that I understand that the place that we live is intelligently designed, there's a creator. Now, who's that creator? I leave it right there. That's everyone else's journey. There was a launch just the other day, and it's a helium balloon, and something went wrong, and it went sideways. It went sideways. It's just a balloon with a little firework on the bottom, and it goes sideways. And it's just a helium balloon with a weighted bottom and a light show coming out of the bottom. And then when they watched it go up, it's just floating up, barely going anywhere. And it's supposed to be going, 17,000 miles an hour. It's ridiculous. Think about this. Remember when when they show it, there's like the little light coming out of the bottom and there's pieces breaking off of it. It's ridiculous. So think about the space shuttle.
I have a question for you.
Good.
I have a question. So
Shoot.
all of these things that have been faked through everything. They fake things on the news all the time. NASA, all of these people, there's a lot of fake things. So how does one know when something is real?
You have to really look into it and do the work, And
I feel like you can speculate, but you would have to really go research the earth yourself and go look for stuff.
So that's what we did. We went out and measured. If the earth has a radius. Now the radius is from the center of the earth to the surface of the earth. So if my elbow was the center of the earth and my fingertips were the surface, if you make a swiping motion, that's the curve of the earth. So you have that.
How do we know how far down the center of the earth is?
Great question. And there's no proof of R. There's no proof of the radius. And without the radius, you can't figure out any of the rest of the solar system. But they tell us the radius is just under 4,000 miles. So with that radius, we can do some simple math and say, okay, something at 10 miles should be 66 feet below the curve. And there's all of these observations would follow this physical curve. But with our super zoom lenses now and lasers and microwaves and infrared, we can see things that would require a radius of over 250,000 miles. Right? The ball would have to be that big to see some of the things that we see. So either the earth is, it's at 100 times, 50 times bigger, whatever, somewhere around there, which is a problem, or it's flat. And we know it's flat because large bodies of water at rest lay flat. We know that we're in some sort of containment because you can't have pressure without a container. A vacuum of space would just suck all of the air out. So listen to this. Elon Musk, he's taken us to Mars. He's like the man, right? You're going to get I'm going to send you a link after this. And it's a 5-minute video about Elon Musk. Everything he's ever said, done is a lie. And it just lays it all out. Yeah, absolutely. But check us out. Werner von Braun, the Nazi scientist that was brought over to run NASA. He started NASA, wrote a book called Project Mars about this group of people that went to Mars and started a civilization there. And the head of that group was named Elon. And Elon rocket looks very similar to the rocket that he has on a book from 1957, right? Elon is a little not as pointy, but Elon tweeted a couple months ago, I want to make my Mars rocket pointier because they're just rubbing it in our faces.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to see these links. I need to research. I need to find I like to do research and really get into it.
Do you have an iPhone or an Android phone?
An iPhone.
So I will send you a free download of my app and just watch. And because if you Google flat Earth, you're going to find their propaganda. If you Google the exact name of one of my videos or any of the other great videos out there and the channel name, it won't show up. You'll get the propaganda videos. You'll get the first video you get is by a guy that calls himself Professor Dave. He's not Professor Dave. He's just an actor with a bunch of straw man arguments
that he lights us up, gaslights us with stuff that we don't believe. And then he makes these ridiculous arguments that are completely debunkable, but he says them in a snarky way. It's the number one hit. People watch that and go, oh, Flat Earth is stupid. So get the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and then you'll see. Just watch a video every day. And then you can, if you want to watch more videos, hit the archive button, tons of videos. Hit the frequently asked question buttons, like, hey, why the lie? Watch the feature length movies. Why the lie? Yeah. What about eclipses? What about tides? What about sunsets? Where does the sun go? Click, where does the sun go? And they'll show it to you better than I can explain it here on a podcast.
I like you. You're smart.
You're smart.
Hey, you know what? I like you because you're smart, but here's the problem you're going to have. Let me tell you something. If you start looking into this and using your brain, which God gave you, you're going to start realizing stuff that doesn't agree with anything that you're learning in school. And it doesn't agree with anything that your friends. And if you start bringing it up to your friends, they might start ridiculing you. So my recommendation is, as you learn this stuff and you want to discuss it with your friends, pose it as a question. It's like, like, how does the light from the moon light up the earth? If the moon is a dusty, dirty ball, how does the light come all the way back to earth and be so bright that you could read by it in the middle of nowhere, right? Sure. If NASA shows us, a picture from the far side of the moon going in front of the earth, well, how come when they show that picture, how come the back of the moon doesn't light up like we see the moon? The moon is its own light. It's here within the Earth system. Next time there's a day moon, go look at it and you'll see that there's blue sky beyond it. Let your eyes see reality rather than the nonsense that they want you to believe. Use your common sense. Use your senses. Yeah.
I'm an artist, and I went to art school and everything. And my teacher always says, I don't know what I was drawing. Well, I was drawing like a still life, right?
Yep.
And she said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm drawing this." She was like, "No, you're not." She said, "You're not drawing this." She was like, "You're drawing what you think you see." She was like, and she says, actually look at it, and don't think you're seeing something. Actually look at it. Like I think when we look at the sun or we look at whatever, we glance at it or we look at it, but we don't look, like you said, beyond it or to see if there's something behind it or if we can see a different color or whatever the case.
Now, I know that this is an audio podcast, but I'm going to show you an illusion that you will not be able to break. So I'm going to show you two tables. Are they the same width and dimension?
No.
They absolutely are. And when you put a piece of paper on them, they're exactly the same. And no matter how long you look at it, you're not going to be able to break that illusion. Okay?
It's just the angle.
It's the way our brains work. Like when you see the moon on the horizon, a full moon, it's gigantic, right? But it's really the same size as when the moon's high in the sky. It's just the way that your eye sees it. And the way to break that illusion, when you see the moon giant on the horizon, turn around backwards to the moon, bend over and look at the moon through your legs, upside down, and the moon will look tiny. Just like when you see the moon and you take a picture of it, you look at the picture and go, it's tiny. It never does it justice, right? Unless, of course, you can zoom in on it. Try that and it breaks the illusion. And then your brain will start to see things in reality.
I like that.
So here's what I say. Do not believe anything I told you tonight. Start verifying this stuff yourself. Start looking and say, hey, look for a reason that flat Earth is stupid. Like, photos of Earth. Well, then you'll find out that there are no photos of Earth. NASA admits there's no photos of Earth. And the ones that they show us make no sense.
Together. And then I watched a video on this. They can't get one huge picture of the globe when they're in space, so they edit them together. If you zoom in, some of the continents and countries are double or bigger than they actually are.
And the clouds are stepped and repeated.
They can't, because they can't get one full picture of the globe because it's so big.
Well, that's what they tell you. It's
flat. So big in quotes.
Right. And Google Earth used to be flat, but they put it on a sphere years ago, and that that's why people think the Earth is a globe, because of Google Earth. It's ridiculous. And we could, again, Number one proof for me, we can see too far. We can see way, way, way too far.
Mm.
So, and just remember, when you see things, you have to really, like your art teacher said, when you see things like, what planet is this? Oh, I blew it, actually. What planet is that?
Well, now I know it's not a planet.
It's not a planet.
But it does, from that distance.
Yeah.
It does look like a planet.
It looks like Jupiter, and then it's really a bunch of ducks. I did it backwards because I'm dyslexic.
It's okay.
All right.
But I can see that, though. It does from the distance.
It definitely does look like Jupiter. Even right now, you're kind of like,
when you really look into flat Earth, you'll start seeing, I say start slow. Imagine 3 baskets: globe Earth, flat Earth, globe and flat Earth. And you say, well, what about circumnavigation, right? Well, circumnavigation, east and west, work on a globe Earth and work on a flat Earth, because circumnavigation, you're going around a magnetic center. So east and west are circles. South is every direction away from the center. Well, that works on a globe Earth and a flat Earth. But what doesn't work is circumnavigation south. On a globe Earth, you should be able to go south and pop up on the other side. But on a flat Earth, it doesn't work. And guess what? Nobody has ever circumnavigated the Earth south.
Really?
No one's ever done it. Billions of people have done it east and west. You can even go north over the center, and then you're going south. Every straight line on Earth is actually eventually south. So no matter which direction you're going, you go, if you're heading north, as soon as you pass the North Pole, you're going south. If you're heading east or west, and you don't correct to the north, you're heading south instantly. And so billions and billions of people have gone east and west, including Amelia Earhart, who, that's the wrong map. She circumnavigated, just went around, and she went here, she went around and around and around, and she basically just traveled east until she got back to where she started. That's on a flat plane. Airplanes fly straight and level over a Earth plane, right? Not air globe. Okay, sea level, not sea curve. And once you start seeing these things, so you got your 3 baskets, you'll find out stuff goes into the works on both. Stuff goes into the only works on a flat Earth, like we can see too far. Large bodies of water laying flat, but nothing ever falls into the only works on a globe. Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
We're definitely going to do some research.
Yeah. People say, well, I've seen it from an airplane. We've sent balloons up to 120,000 feet and it's flat, right? If you're in an airplane flying at about 39,000 feet, the horizon should be drop. It should be 242 miles away with a drop of another 39,000 feet plus. So the height of the airplane and the drop of the Earth, the horizon should be 78,000 feet below you. But when you're in an airplane, look out the right window, look across the way at the left window, and the horizon is at your eye level in both of those.
To do that, we fly a lot.
Yeah, we're going to do that next week.
Yeah, the horizon will be at your eye level. Now, it may drop a little bit just due to atmospheric density. You're not really seeing the full horizon because it's just disappearing into the thickness of the air. And you may see a little curve because the window's curved. But make sure you check out that curve on the runway because you'll see the same curve when you're sitting on the runway.
Okay.
Right?
We'll do that next time we fly.
Yeah, put it down in your notes.
I'm going to put it in my notes
right now.
And if you get the chance, ask the pilot. Ask the pilot if he has to nose down a mile every 2 minutes just to maintain altitude. Otherwise, he'll fly off into space. Because if you're flying at 500 miles an hour, the Earth curve is dropping away from you, and you would fly right off into space. In an hour's time, you'd be 30 miles higher than you were an hour ago, right? With the dropping rate of the Earth, and that averages to a mile every 2 minutes.
That's crazy, Mom.
Nobody does that.
Right.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that. And one more thing, and I think we could wrap it up. When think about this, on the globe, at the bottom of the globe is Santiago, Chile is at the bottom of the globe. And then you have Antarctica, and on the other side of Antarctica is Australia. So the shortest flight would be from just right across Antarctica, around Antarctica, and over to Australia. But the route that they take goes from Santiago, which is the tip of South America, goes all the way up to the east coast of America, over to the west coast, and then all the way back down over the equator again to Eastern Australia. And if they want to go to Western Australia, it's crazier. They go all the way up to America, all the way over to the Far East and Singapore and down this crazy loop, rather than, just cutting across the bottom of the ball. But the reason they do that is because on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line. If you just follow a straight line between those 2 points, it goes all the way up across America, across the Far East, Singapore, and Western Australia. It's a straight line. It's an absolute straight line. And they lie about the flight routes where they go. They're not going those routes. They're not going the way that they tell you. And we've proven it by having people on the planes taking compass readings, and it only makes sense on a flat Earth.
I was gonna say that. How would we ever know how they're truly doing it? But you just
here's how we know. There's 16 emergency landings that have proven flat Earth. There's actually 17 now. Someone on the plane had a medical emergency, and I'm looking for the ones where I can explain it properly. There was somebody that I think they're flying from Taiwan to LA, and they were going right over Hawaii, and they were right near Hawaii when there was a medical emergency. And instead of landing in Hawaii or continuing over to LA, they went thousands of miles, a couple thousand miles, or over 1,000 miles out of the way to Alaska. And if I could find my thing just so I can show you guys, but I can't find it. And the reason they went to Alaska is because they're going across right near Hawaii. A medical emergency happened, and instead of continuing, they went to Alaska. And the reason is because Alaska is right along that straight line. So on these emergency landings, it's called 16 Emergency Landings That Prove Flat Earth. It's free online. You can download the PDF, or you can buy the book on lulu.com. And it basically has all these crazy emergency landings where every time they were why did they go to Moscow? Why did they go here? It doesn't make sense. But if you draw a line from the origin to the destination right on the flat Earth map, they always land right along that line.
It falls in the line.
It falls right on the line every single time.
16 emergency landings.
16 emergency landings that prove flat Earth. Here it is. This is it happens all the time, and when they land, they always land in a crazy place.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
definitely something to think about.
I like this little map. Yeah,
definitely something to think about.
So, final questions.
We need to have another interview with you.
Well, you guys need to send me your email address that you use for your phone, and I will send you a download from Apple so you can get the app and check it out. You'll see. And there's a new feature coming on the app that it's not on yet, but it's actually might be coming out tomorrow, where you can find other flat Earth users near you. You look at the map and it's like,
cool.
Other people have the app in my neighborhood, and you can message them like, hey, meet me at the coffee shop. Let's talk flat Earth. Bam. That's how
nice.
you're going to love that.
That is so cool.
All right, ladies, thank you. You can find me at flatearthdave.com. Pretty easy, right? Flat Earth Dave. What's that?
Yeah, we follow him on Instagram.
Instagram is the Flat Earth Podcast.
Yes.
Facebook
We're
page.
going to put it in our show notes also.
I appreciate it. Facebook page is the Flat Earth Podcast. But if you forget all of that, just Flat Earth Dave. Pretty easy. There's links to the app there. It's on Google Play. It's on Apple App Store. It's the highest rated app in the App Store. Just be careful on Google Play. There's already one by the Flat Earth Society, which is a disinformation site that has my same name, stealing my graphics. The app is horrible. But if you get it, don't send me an email telling me my app stinks because it's not my app.
We would never.
You're
All right.
absolutely-
And flatearthdave.com, you can find everything there. And all my interviews will be there. This interview will be there. And that's about all I got to say about that.
Well, you are awesome. Flat Earth
Lovely
Dave.
person to talk to, Dave.
Hey, thanks so much. And listen, don't tell your friends the earth is flat yet. Study for a little while. Study. And then when you can't hold it in anymore, start like posing questions.
Just
like,
let it out.
Yeah. Well, just be careful because they're going to chop your head off. 10-year-olds are the worst, actually. 10, maybe
Oh, yeah.
16. They're getting census about them.
Naughty as
I
shit.
don't think my friends actually would be too like weird about it because my friend is very into conspiracy theories.
There you go. Well, maybe he's already heard about flat earth and maybe he's heard about flat earth Dave. That's me.
Yes.
That's
Well,
me.
we're definitely going to spread the word. We're going to do our research and we're going to see what we officially think. And of course, we're going to have you back on the show because you're awesome.
Use the app to find the
We already
videos
use
because
the app.
otherwise, what's that?
I said we are going to use your app because I tried to like Google and I
You
tried
can't
to like,
find
look
anything.
stuff up on YouTube
Nothing.
and it was annoying me.
Yeah.
So
That's the plan to get you annoyed, confused, and tired so you give up.
that is true. That's a good way to get people. That's why they delete it all so we can get annoyed and then just end it.
100%. So I guess in my final words are trust your senses and stop believing the nonsense that they want you to believe. And don't let them control your mind with cartoons.
Yes.
All right, Dave. Lovely, lovely, lovely interview.
All right, ladies,
So,
thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Dave.